And then how do I get the chat? Hi guys, welcome to Gently Healing. How do I get the chat up? I want to, I thought I was ready.
And then if you can
Oh, there we go. There we go.
they go on the screen.
Awesome. Awesome. Oh, yay, Kala, Sam.
We're teaching Jen how to do this
Yes.
on her own.
Yes.
She's doing wonderful. Oh my gosh, my stuff is all.
Oh, now we got Zach's stuff all in the other room. Hello and welcome to Gently Healing with Jen Tilley. And we have Kala and Sam and Brittany in here already. That is awesome. Thank you for coming today. I have had a few things go through my mind on what I wanted to kind of talk about today and what kind of meditation I wanted to start with and do. And I think what the biggest thing that I came to start with is talking about kind of the protections that we can do for ourselves when we are spiritually enlightening ourselves and going through a journey. There's a lot of outside influences and energies coming in, and sometimes it's hard to go, well, is that mine or what is going on here? And I think that it is very valuable to be able to learn about how to protect yourself. I was I was raised very religious, and so I kind of always knew that there was something that needed to be done when it came to protections. I was raised Mormon, and what we used to do would say, "By the power of Jesus Christ, I cast you out," when we would feel these negative energies coming into our area. But I have since moved past that and learned how important it is for us to take our power back within our vessels and not place it outside of ourselves. I think that learning to use Jesus Christ was a valuable thing and it worked for me, but I don't believe the same way I used to believe, if you will, at all. So, what I wanted to talk about today is how I kind of learned to start that process. And so I thought it would be fun to talk about Merkabas. And I have like a thing right here. Do, do, do. Oh, I did it. So this is a Merkaba, if you didn't know. And this is also us kind of building our own spaceships. There's a lot that you can do inside this space and inside this geometry and architecture. But this is kind of the basics of how I began. So when I begin in my meditative space, I actually begin to draw this Merkaba myself. So I'll draw each individual line, placing myself inside the center, bringing the lines up and down, and so on and so forth, so that I see myself inside this space. And then from there, because we're creators and because you are the one that is the powerful being within this space, other people do not know what you are designing, other entities that could be coming in or energies. It's kind of like the Matrix movie, if you will. Those little guys kind of trying to latch onto the ship. Same kind of concept. So what I even started with my own Merkaba was to kind of start like the walls of it is like a mirrored reflection so that anyone that was coming up to me would only be really reflecting themselves and creating the design of the mirror that it's just like really spoken in love, because that's the journey that I'm on. And so if somebody's coming in and they're bringing in their negative energy, they're reflecting that back out. So they could be projecting their well, they would be projecting their own stuff right back to themselves. Or when they're looking at you and they're just so in love, they're really loving themselves. And that's what we really want to do, is create a world of love, like just love. And so I started with that, and then from there I will design the edges and even the sides of it too. But I'll start with just the lines. Is I'll make it unique in some way. I touched a little bit on it when I was talking about the design of the rose, where you just add things to it. Like I use the snakes, and then I make them very unique, or like anything that I can like think of that is outside the box, like something I've never even thought thought of before, and start to design it this way. And then also, I'll do the sides of each Merkaba where I'll end up going in and creating like my own worlds inside that space. So if you will, when you walk into the side of that Merkaba, or one of the sides, each piece has something very unique, and something that no one else knows. And it's very important to constantly be adding different things to it when you come back in your meditations. Or I think meditation should be done all throughout your day. You don't just have to sit there and you can actually sit there and start to just think about it for a moment before you go into the store, while you're walking through the store, while you're driving. There's a gazillion times that you can meditate. And this is just part of the discipline. So I felt that it was really important as we're coming together to learn how to do this. And you might already know, but the Merkaba is spoken of throughout history, all the way into the Bible, deeper into esoterics. This is actually also known as the spaceship. This is how you can work with your astral projections when you go into different astral places. You're also protected in those spaces as well, which is really important. You are a divine being, and I love you very much. So I want you to love you very much. So protecting that, I use a lot with sound, creating different fogs and the molecules inside of there. Like I just do lots of different kinds of whatever I can think of, and I'll just add it to it, and then add my own twists, things that like really I believe no one's ever thought of before. And so, what I wanted to do was to be able to start our meditation today with you sitting in your own quiet space and being able to build your own Merkaba, and then to experience what you feel. And even if, like, let's say today you just want to start with just the lines and sit in that space and see what that feels, it's up to you. Feel what you want to do. Maybe you want the sound that is coming in to be part of it. And again, always adding a little extra for you that no one would ever think of. Um, so, with that, I'm trying to think what else I would want to add. Oh, definitely talking about breathing again. Whenever you're in a meditative space, being able to sync with your breathing. So, before you fully like begin to like build that, pulling in and centering with self, um, clearing out your day and letting that go and sloughing off all of that negative energy so that you can really be in a like holy loving space with self. So as the same breathing that we talked about yesterday, which is just breathing in a crystalline light. I like to use crystalline light devoid of color. A lot of people will add in color when we do this, mostly because I believe this is the purest of lights. It's devoid of all it's void space. So this is the most powerful void. Uh, this is where we go. This is where we create. We can probably have lots of dialogue on void. I don't know how deep I want to go into that, but I use a crystalline light because of that, and spiraling it in and snaking it in through my nose. I use a lot of metaphor with snake. If you do more and more research as we go along, I'll probably bring more information about snakes. You can think of the Ouroboros. You can think even the medical staff has the snakes on it. Across the board, snakes are used. They're very powerful. My flute also has a snake, and so breathing that in and breathing in through your nose that crystalline light into your solar plexus, spiraling it around in there, and always the positive lights, joys, whatever you want to build in that space. And when you're ready, exhaling only through your nose and sloughing that off through your feet. So it's just slough off all that negative energy, connect it down into the earth. She's wonderful. She's prepared. She knows she's in duality. She balances that with us. Well, yeah, she balances duality. So I like to think of the again that slough of like almost like a wiring system going into the earth because we are wires. So bringing it in from the top and then sloughing it off down through the bottom. But before we fully begin, I want to say hi to everyone that I see in here because I'm so excited to see you guys. Like seriously. So we have Kala, which I kind of said hello, Kala. I'm excited you're going to be here soon. Whoop whoop. Uh, and I definitely am super stoked because I want to ask you specifically, Kala, about my sweet little dog Audie, because I know you do animal medicine stuff too, and I'm so excited to be able to pick your brain a little bit more with him. Uh, Gosh, anyway, so I wanted to say that to you while you're here. And Sammy, I'm so happy to see you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I hope you're feeling amazing today. I love you. And Brittany, I love you. And Willow, yay, I love you too. Boop. And Zach and Sophia. Oh my gosh, Sophia, you're here. Sophia, I want you to know that I had an opportunity to name my niece. I actually couldn't have children. And so having an opportunity to be able to name a child was pretty phenomenal. And I scoured the like studying and looking for all the names and I came upon Sophia. She's a warrior. It's such a powerful name and I think it's so awesome. And I also before I also got a dog named Sophie. I adopted her when she was 10 and she came with that name and so I love it. I love it. So welcome, welcome. And Charlotte, I love you. Yay. Oh my gosh, greetings, greetings. And let's see. I think I got all of the people I see in chat right now. And if I missed anyone, well, I'm sending you all my love right now, and I'm so grateful that you are all here and that we are all here together. It's really a powerful and amazing feeling to just unify like this. Super rad. So wow, how amazing. Yes, Sophia. I think I want to try this too. Yesterday, oh yeah, it says show. I couldn't show the comments. Woo! I did it. Okay, so awesome. I love it. And I am feeling fantastic today, Sammy. Oh, yay. Oh gosh, that is awesome. And Brittany, I love you guys. This is cool. I'm going to take Sophia's heart and flowers right there, and I'm going to keep that. I really like that space. We're going to go into the heart space. The flowers I like from yesterday, even though I don't necessarily see those flowers as roses. Again, the roses are such a healing space. So again, if you want to put roses all over your merkaba, all the beautiful healing architecture of the rose, with that, I would highly recommend. It is very cool. So I think we should begin. Let's just begin with doing the breathing as I had talked about. Again, breathing in the crystalline light and breathing it up through your nose, snaking it down into the solar plexus, spiraling that beautiful, bright, crystalline energy of joy and love and all of the extra awesome things. And when you're ready, out through the nose, slough it off into the earth and keep that cycling as we go. I'm going to pull my earbuds out because I think it's going to hear better while I play. So let's do this. All right. Just take a few breaths more and come back to your center. Come back to yourself. Open your eyes, experiencing yourself in this space now. See how your vessel feels different, how your spirit and body and light body feels different. Or maybe it feels the same. However it is, just come back to you and meet yourself now. I know that I feel better. Not that I was feeling worse before I began. I just feel fuzzy. Kind of just like a vibration and like a good vibe. And I just want you to know that I love you guys very, very much. And I'm so grateful that we're in this together and that we are building structures and creating things as a whole unit. I think that has so much power that goes so far beyond ourselves and ripples into our realities. Sound ripples into our realities. It has a geometry. My flute and my bowls are harmonically toned to be able to tone our vessels. Every chakra has a harmonic sound, which we will be going over much more in depth on Friday when we do the new moon ceremony with Maya when she comes on the show with me, which I'm very excited about. I am going to take a moment and say, what comments that I see, Charlotte had to go. If she is here at all and can hear this, I love you, Charlotte. Thank you for joining as long as you could. You're still with us, no matter what. We're connected, whether you're listening, not listening. Uh, Hi, all. Hi, Jacob. Hi, Jacob. Did you just get here? Because we just finished up the flute play. But of course, I think we summoned you. If you did not, you heard us. And Brittany, I'm sure most of us will be here till bedtime. This is very accurate. I would tell on myself here. Last night, I ended up dozing off right at the end of the show. I think Zach probably he's like turned on, and I feel like I will probably missed something there. He's so adorable, but that happens all the way till bedtime for sure. Ooh, new moon ceremony. Yes, Jacob. So on Friday, Maya, I don't know if you heard Maya before, you guys, but she has the most angelic voice. She speaks the light language, sings the light language. So she's going to come with me and work on harmonic toning. I am very excited to hear and see how she does it. I have my own way that I do it more than just the flutes. I go through each sound with my voice to tone each one. But as I said, we will go much more in depth to that. Hi, Kevin. Greetings again. I sample. What? Do you mean by you sampled it like what you were talking about last night on the podcast that you were going to put that together with some other musics? Oh my gosh, that's so rad. That's so rad. Oh, Kevin, I'm so glad you're here. What time is the new moon ceremony? Okay, so what we're going to do for the new moon ceremony, Sophia, is that we're going to do it on the show and we're going to just start it off that way. It will still be light and where many of us are. I don't know where you're located, but it's already ushering it into that day. Yeah, we're going to do that. Definitely recommend thinking about even journaling leading up to this on what you would like to put in for this new moon cycle that is happening. Like write in what you wish to have for your next cycle. Like you would like to let go of certain things and not have them come with you, and also the things that you would like to see. I talked on Zach and Aaron's podcast about every night before going to bed, writing out something about what you imagine your perfect day to be. Not like, so like, we have each day now. Like when you wake up, what is just a regular day, but in that perfect sense? You like to have contact with certain people and friends coming in and having that energy. Your children are acting excellent and being cute and adorable as fuck, and all these different wonderful like parts of the day that we just truly enjoy. So before going to bed, I always write that out. And in new moon ceremonies, I put that as the overall what I want for my next cycle. This is how I want my next days to look. And letting go and putting the things that I would like to let go of, anger, frustration, lack of self confidence, self sabotage, any of those things, saying that is what I'd like to let go of. And then the cycles begin. They're sigils that you write out your manifestations to one more degree farther. So so that is the new moon ceremony, 5 p.m. on Friday here, right on this show. Um, and let's see, I, I have not heard voice yet. Can't wait though. I think you're meaning Maya's voice. My voice, I'm still training. Actually, I did a lot of theater growing up. Like the first time I could take a class in theater was like in eighth grade, and I loved it. My father did a little bit of theater in high school, and I was like a daddy's girl. So in many ways, I gravitated, and plus I was part of his DNA to 50% of him. I think he gave me that part for sure. And but in eighth grade, I started doing a bit of theater, and then added in dance. And I just didn't get as much vocal training. The vocal training I really pretty much had was singing hymns in church or church choir or something, which I still didn't do much of that. And really, it was very interesting because then I got a friend for a short time where we would go around and we would just sing all sorts of songs. And it was very, very freeing for me for the first time to just sing like that. And then when I went to college, I was there on a like theater scholarship, which required me to audition for everything. And not having that vocal training really lowered my confidence level. So let's put it that way. But I had to audition for this operetta, an operetta, like seriously, no vocal training. And so it was the first and only time that I truly had stage fright. The night before I auditioned, this very, very sweet girl was trying to help me with my song. She had a beautiful voice. And she said to me, Jen, I recognize that you sing a little bit in the back of your throat. And I was like, oh, well, what does that mean with no real vocal training? And she goes, well, I'll give you an example, but this is not at all how you sound. So she made this like almost like frog, like I don't even remember how she did it, but I was almost like low self-esteem, just horrified. And yet I was like, okay, okay, it's okay. She wasn't saying that, I was trying to do it, but it was too late within my mind. And so the next day I got up on the stage and I hadn't even like trained on like the scales and all this kind of stuff. And they were having us do scales and I'm sitting there watching everyone audition and then knowing everyone was going to watch me audition. And so right before I go, two of the most beautiful women with the most beautiful voices I have still yet ever. Well, no, Maya's voice is, oh my gosh, amazing. But most beautiful voices I had ever heard in person. And they started the scales, and the one went as low as possible and then as high soprano. And then their songs were amazing. The next girl that goes went even lower and even higher. And I'm sitting there going, oh shit, oh shit. And so I get up on the stage, and sure enough, like I couldn't get a sound out, not a sound out of my vocal cords. And the woman's like playing the scale, show must go on. So she keeps going. And then like I froze. like that. And then she started to play my song that I brought for her to play for me to audition to. And my sweet director, he ended up, he knew the song. He started to sing that song, and I just locked over on him. And I just was able, from that point, grabbing on in his beautiful energy, and I was able to sing the last bit of whatever the song was. I don't even know if it was like, if I like sang it or if I like how it went, but I did get audible sound out. And I really did not sing much ever again in front of uh, anybody for a very, very, very long time after that. I felt, though, like when I had the time with my friend, when we would just sing and have fun, that I actually really had a good voice. Not being trained, I was like the best backup singer, is the way I would think of myself at the time. But then going through that, I really had to like overcome a lot. And then just recently, I was invited to go and do these song circles when I was up in Leavenworth, Washington, inside of this teepee. This woman had this teepee in her backyard, and we would just do song circles. And it was so freeing to just literally release that for the first time, and I don't even know how long. So harmonic toning's different for sure than singing, but it's still it's working past that and like facing your fears and like singing the song circle. In the end, I would be able to like elevate my voice and harmonize with others, and it was just such a rad experience, guys. Like, I'm really, really grateful to have been able to like take that trauma and like put it behind me, but at the same time, I am grateful like to still have had that experience and met myself. And like, even though it was traumatic at the time, it really like rearranged things for myself and created a new direction of where I needed to go in my life. Because really in theater, I found that if I ever wanted to be on Broadway or something like that, I really needed the deep levels of vocal training, and then also much more dance training than I had received. And I had done sides for two shows. One was Touched by an Angel, and then the other one was Promised Land. Most people haven't really heard of Promised Land. It wasn't on there very long, but it really pushed me away from wanting to do television or movies, because it just wasn't acting the same. It wasn't acting to me, not the way I enjoyed it. Like being on the stage and like having that like, I don't know, that experience, that energy. I remember after one of my performances, I sat down, I was like, that was better than any orgasm I've ever experienced in my life. And that's just the way I've spoken it. And to be true to myself, I guess that's how it felt. And true, it was awesome. But doing the sides for the show was more like, uh, the dog ran across the street, and that was my line. And now I said it for 12 hours straight, as many different ways as I could think about. And then it was 15 seconds worth of the show, you know? And it just wasn't the same. And in so many ways, especially now with all the things that are going on with Hollywood and blah, like I am really grateful that I did not go down that road. But had I not had that stage fright, I think that I would have kind of gotten stuck, if you will. So everything happens for a reason, for sure. Oh, Maya is in here. Hi, Maya. Oh my gosh. Yay, yay, yay. No plug. No, no, you're playing. Oh, cool. Uh, I think you were saying no, you're. I don't remember what that was right now. Yeah, just now. Oh yeah, yeah. Kevin, I think you're answering my thing, saying that you recorded what I played, like you talked about on the show. And again, if I got that right, that's really awesome. No one's ever done that for me. That's cool. Um, Jacob, YouTube, Maya Rose, there's another Maya. So look, for example, River of Time, Dharma. Oh, oh, that the Pono Ono. I'm saying that wrong right now. That was one of the songs that we sang in the song circle. You have you have that on YouTube, Maya? I love that. That was like so freeing freeing in there. That was if many of you don't know, I think this is a Hawaiian kind of like a mantra, if you will. And it's oh man, I can't remember. I forgive you, I love you. Um, oh man, I can't remember the words at this moment. But man, if you if it's on YouTube, totally go check that out. Oh man, so rad. Okay, so about 2 p.m. PST. Oh, no, so Sophia, I'm in Los Angeles. So I'm 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So the new moon ceremony will be at 5 p.m. I love Ho'oponopono. Yeah, there you go. Um, in that one, my daughter sings with me. What, Maya? I am totally checking that out. Can I think I might be able to do that. I'm gonna just try and see if I can do that. So I look up. Wait, let me come back. And you said to look under. Let me go back to this thing. Yeah, there's another Maya. So there, for example, River Time Dharma. So, oh no, I don't know how to do that yet. I am gonna play that for you guys tomorrow show. If Maya, if that's okay, I love that. In fact, that's probably why it didn't come easily, because that would be a really really great one to use. It's such a great meditation. So using that tomorrow, if you don't mind, would be really really rad. And your daughter sings with you is so cool. Earlier since I'm in Hawaii. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, got it. 2 p.m. your time, because you're 3 hour time difference than we are. Oh, you're in Hawaii? Oh, that's rad. I've been to Maui and um why am I forgetting the name of the other island that I went to? It will come to me. I'm not going to force it. I've been to 2 islands in Hawaii and it's super rad. I was just saying that randomly a little bit ago. I don't need to pull up maybe all of these. Yes, I was referencing Maya's angelic voice. Yeah, I'm so angelic. Hi, yeah, hi, sweet. I love you, Maya. Thanks for sharing that story. Oh, yeah, my pleasure, Tiffany. Yeah. You are the one that is super vocally trained. I really want to hear your voice. You shared that. That's so rad. My grandfather, he sang for the Utah Opera. He was a mathematician. He ran the math department at Brigham Young University, and when he was like 50, he just like decided he was going to become an opera singer. And the family at the time thought that was super weird. Now that I've learned more about mathematics and sciences, I don't think it's that weird that he got into that level of vocal training. But for all of our lives, pretty much we just laughed about it. But he sang in over like 50 operas. I remember he was singing in, was it Carmen? Was it Carmen? Anyway, in one of the operas I saw him in, he ended up getting pushed, and I was this little girl, and I stood up in front of like on my seat, and I'm like, "Don't you push my grandpa!" like this, and they like whisked me out of the theater and took me outside. But yeah, so gosh, I love classically trained voice. I love singing. Like I think that definitely is something that I would like to work more on within myself, and something I definitely see in my future. It's not that I don't have a voice, it's just it's not trained. Thanks for sharing that story. Yep, my own version in Spanish. Oh, cool. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Yeah, oh, there it is. This is what I want to play for you guys tomorrow. This. It says, I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. That is so beautiful. And then to keep repeating that mantra over and over, and the power that it happens, and then forgiving your own heart in that space, because this is all about healing, and learning how to love ourselves. At Myra, thank you. Totally check it out. Oh, I love that you guys are all coming together like this. We're such a family. It's so rad. Sure, all you want. I'm not confident in music theory though. Well, yeah. So like you do like where you're at right now, and I maybe someday, if that's what you want to do, maybe you don't need music theory. I know Zach knows a lot about music theory. Perhaps he can start sharing a bit about music theory on the show at one point, and we can both learn more about it, or we could all learn more. Um, yeah. Oh, so cool. I did some, what is this? Kirtan on Monday, and I love using my voice in that way. What is Kirtan? That's interesting. I don't know what Kirtan is. You're also sweet. So anyway, I should look more into what Kirtan is, or if somebody wants to share with me what that is. I actually don't know. I'm not very trained in musical theory, or if that is maybe a opera. I sing Hapono Ono regularly. See, wouldn't that be wonderful? Like, we should get Maya and that version of her playing, and then we'll keep the what it says maybe on the bottom of the screen, and we can also sing it in our own voices. Just maybe play with that. Oh gosh, I just said that out loud, which meant that I would sing. Okay, I am gonna think about that for a second. Sounds great, but I would be the only one you guys would hear besides my. Oh no, it would be muted because we would hear Maya's. Oh no, yeah. I could do that. I could totally do that. Maybe at some point I'll mute and share that with you. I don't learn any music theory. You are music, so don't worry too much about form. That was for Tiffany. Yeah. Well, I now made it for everybody. Okay. So awesome. Oh gosh, guys, this is so fun. Um, gosh, I was thinking something that I wanted to share with you was kind of like things that happen in the day, and learn things that you learn, and talking about different energies. Like today, I had this point where I felt really lethargic, and I'm like, oh gosh, why am I so lethargic? And I start like beaming in all of these different reasons why I would be so lethargic. It's like, oh, it could be this, it could be that. And all of a sudden I started to think, well, Zach is very helpful too. He talked to me a little bit about it, but then when I like sat with myself after getting this information, I was just sitting there thinking, gosh, if I take all of my energy to try and figure out why I'm so tired, it stops me from the like taking the energy to just wake myself back up. In fact, I feel like I'm putting myself more and more to sleep, because what happens at the point do I figure out why am I so tired? What do I get there? Then do I all of a sudden go, okay, now I figured out exactly why I'm tired, which you'll never get to figure out. It could have been like 60 other things. Who knows? And so at that point, it's just like centering yourself really to the now and making that choice. Like, I obviously had resistance. I didn't want to be tired. I didn't want to take a nap, but I was expressing this. So instead of, guys, taking our energy to explore the others, it's taking the energy to figure out where we are now, and then taking the steps to just like wake ourselves back up, if you will. There's a lot of other ways you can do that than just being like sleepy. But when we try and figure out why exactly we're doing this thing right now, is taking us away from the now. It's putting us in the future, past. It's literally spiraling that energy all different spots. Uh, Erin is here. Well, I just realized that means that I would have to sing too. Now, oh, have to think about that. Oh, are you quoting me? That's so. Oh, God. Okay. Probably my face is going red. Is it red? I blush. I blush. Yeah. I love you too, Erin. I love you so much. Erin will be here on Thursday at noon. I think it's like 12:40 or something he flies in. And I am just like so excited to be able to just get to meet all of you guys and have you here, Erin. Like, seriously, I know Joe's excited and Zach's excited, and we're going to have rave parties and healing and ceremony and just falling in love with each other. And it's rad. We can actually touch each other in person, and we'll keep that going. And like I said, on one of the other podcasts, where it's kind of like you when Aaron was sitting at a campfire and he put a chair behind him and he was like, anyone can come sit in this chair. And it's like manifesting and seeing and creating yourself in that space, what it would look like, what it would feel like we can come together super easy and it will easily flow into our lives. I hope when Maya comes on Friday, she shares her stories on her crazy travels, on how easy it was for her to be able to travel at times. It's all over, and yeah, creating that space, and we're all getting it. People on this podcast here have space for us to go up to Washington and visit. We have space down here in California to come visit, and I just think it's really cool that we're building that community. Today I saw this black, it's called the great black wasp. I don't know if you've ever seen one. They're pretty much, I think, on the like this side, like in California, Oregon, and Washington, or the West Coast. But they're these like black hawks that like are known for digging, and so and they're also known for like community and women power and self love and just a bunch of really rad medicine came pouring in. And what I found out about this really cool hawk, or not hawk, excuse me, you'll say, this great black wasp is what it's called. It's very similar to the tarantula hawk. And I don't know if you've ever heard of a tarantula hawk before, but the tarantula hawk is known for like fighting a fighting a tarantula and then paralyzing it with its stinger and then carrying it back into its den where it then lays its eggs on there and the tarantula is still alive, or its egg. And when that baby like comes to life, that's its first meal, is the tarantula. And so I knew that story because I've actually seen that happen when we were in Leavenworth. Literally, I saw a tarantula hawk fighting, just like I described, fighting the tarantula, and the tarantula hawk won and carried it. And I didn't see it lay its egg or anything. It carried it under the leaves to wherever its den was. But I just thought it was really, really kind of cool to learn something new about different critters that are out there and different medicines. And I'm still dissecting like what I guess that birthing process is. But I guess there's different fuel that we can use from the different insects. But black um, the black wasp, the great black wasp, does it with all insects. I don't know if I said that, as opposed to just the tarantula. So it like expanded it even farther. You definitely don't want to be stung by either one of these. They're one of the worst stings on the planet that you can get. Not the worst, but among the probably top 5 or 10 of the worst stings, for sure. Then Oh man, speaking of stings, I shared this a bit with you guys. This kind of brings in like animal medicine and also plant medicine. But when I was in the jungle, oh, there's these flies. I ended up getting stung, and I didn't even know it was a sting that they did this. I thought I was bit for a long time, but it's actually a sting from the bullet ant. I don't know if you've ever heard of a bullet ant before, but literally I think it was rated like the second worst sting. Oh my gosh, it was so bad. I ended up like I was in the kitchen area in the jungle, and I just like stepped back and I stepped right on this ant, and it felt like I stepped on a shard of glass. Like this is like what I saw, like I like almost like I had stomped on it, and I reached to my foot like to try and pull this non-existent glass out of my foot, but there was nothing there. So there was no way to reprieve from this like horrific pain, blinded in pain. And these the coranderos and I don't know, people picked me up and carried me over to the couch and laid me down that was there, and I laid back, and the corandero comes over, totally changed my view on tobacco. He goes and he grabs mapacho, which is tobacco, it's a jungle tobacco, and he just smoked it. Just like started puffing the smoke and blew it on my foot, and then began to whistle and just kept doing that. And generally, when you're stung by a bullet ant, you will not be able to walk for like a week. It is so painful. So this is like where my view of tobacco totally changed. He puffs this smoke, blows it on, and I literally can feel the spirit go in through my foot and kick the fucking shit out, like the toxins and the poisons out of my body. Like it was like this massive protector, masculine spirit that went in and was like, get the fuck out. And literally within 20 minutes, I was walking on my foot. And maybe for a day, maybe 24 hours, if I pushed on my foot on the spot, like there was a bit of tenderness, like something had happened there. But yeah, completely changed my view of tobacco. Why it's like super hard to quit. It's a super masculine spirit, and especially for women, it's harder to quit smoking than it is men, they say. But I think it's because it's a masculine spirit. And then I also thought, gosh, because I started smoking when I was like 16, and I think, I wonder if I like just gravitated towards that medicine because I wasn't protecting myself. As I started talking about in the beginning, like I was taught about protection by the power of Jesus Christ, I cast you out. But I left the church. Like, this is actually really interesting because I left the church at 16 and then started smoking at 16. So I'm thinking that there's like some kind of like correlation where noetically I just knew that I needed to be protected in a certain way. And I was always just like a really funny smoker too. And I didn't quite realize that I was until I learned how they could like test our genetics to a certain degree, all the way down to like being able to tell you exactly what diseases you would die of. And the show I was watching, this man, he was the example, and it said on his chart, though he didn't smoke, had he been a smoker, they were able to break it down to this detail, that he would have loved it so much that he would have like done the full deep inhalations of that smoke just because of the love of the smoke. And I was kind of blown away by A, we could test that, but B, like it made me think about like how I smoked, which I was mostly very shameful of smoking because I was like in the healing industry and the in the fitness industry and all these industries that just like really just frowned upon doing the smoking. But oh, so I realized that I really didn't inhale with my smoking. People would always comment like, "Oh, you're a funny smoker." But I didn't realize that I really hadn't been inhaling it. So, it's not that like the curanderos like they don't inhale the smoke. But it just like kind of had me realize that like when I was using this tobacco, that I really believed that I was using it as a protector, and this is why also like it was imbibing that spirit within. Um, I've quit smoking several times, and I can tell you that it wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be because I wanted to quit. And oh, hold on, I didn't pause this video, and it was a video with no sound. Okay, there we go. Oh, let me go back to StreamYard, and I can do, I think it's this thing. Yeah, there we go. All right. Uh, Smoking, the corn, I don't remember. Distractions. Smoking, definitely different. Quitting smoking. Oh, so one time I quit smoking and I really, really wanted to do it. And I knew that like to like kind of like what I did with quitting like pot in this like for this 28-day cycle, um, was I sat myself down in meditation. And I don't know if you know what a tesseract is. You can Google it if you want, but it's like, imagine a square that in a reality that's like this, and it's getting bigger while the other, and then there's another square, and that one's getting smaller. So one gets so small while the other one's growing, and at the point that the other one almost disappears, the other, it's like this tesseract. Okay. So these are the realities. So I sat myself in this reality where I was the smoker, and I put all the things in there that like was Jen as a smoker. And then in this other reality that was like mine now, the only difference was that I didn't smoke. in this one. I just didn't do that. And that's just kind of what I said. I don't do that here. And as I was seeing that this world where I was a smoker was shrinking, 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 right in that moment of that tesseract, there's this thing called the Z pinch. And right into the Z pinch of the reality I had created of me not being a smoker, I pushed myself into that reality. And I literally didn't smoke for a very long time after that. And so that was one way I used it. I didn't go through any cravings. I didn't feel it like after I ate, where I normally would go and smoke. I just didn't do that anymore. And so that was really rad. So we were really, yeah, definitely powerful when you understand, like, too, that, like, you're dealing with a masculine spirit, knowing also, like, in trading that relationship, that you're going to need to probably do some more protections for yourself if you're imbibing tobacco, because it's been doing a job for you. So, in understanding that spirit and the job that it was doing and saying, okay, thank you, I'm grateful for what you did and helped me, but now that's my turn and my job. Again, I think it's really, really important and very, very powerful to be able to do that, taking your power back. And I feel like it's part of the take snake too. So sometimes it doesn't want to leave easily, and you can look at it as a fight, but really, like, it doesn't have to be. It's all a perspective, and yeah, just taking your power back in it and being creative. But the tesseracting space, I mean, you could do that with so many things. Like, if you are sick, you put yourself in that space where you are no longer sick, and you create all of that reality. And right in that moment, you jump dimensions, man. You literally Z pinch and jump dimensions. This is why I value so much. Like, well, I hope to share more about what I've learned, but like Zach and Aaron's show, where they end up bringing in like all of these different like sciences, for us to learn about, like, tesseracting, magnets, because this is how we work in metaphysical reality, how we travel to the different dimensions, how void space works, and just a whole bunch of stuff. So even if, like, when you're watching their show, you're not like you're going, why am I learning this? It's learning that so that you can understand how to navigate this metaphysical space that is real and is all around you. Well, it's right here. It's both, you close your eyes and you're in that space, you open your eyes, you're here. So yeah, smoking, that led to that, and now here we are. So that's nice stuff. Worst stings, animal medicine. Animal medicine comes to deliver messages, keeping your power. Like, I love that the wasps are here. I love bees and wasps so much. I think wasps often get like a super bad rap. Most people will be like, I don't kill bees, but I'll kill wasps. And yet wasps are like super duper pollinators, just like bees are. The only reason why they're a little bit, maybe arguably less of a pollinator, is because they don't have the fur like bees do, and the bees can hold the pollen a bit more than a wasp can, but they definitely are huge in the pollination process, and we need that balance too. You have the balance of the kindness and love of the bumblebee, and then you have the predator of the wasp, and you get it all over in nature, the condor and the eagle, and we're all merging that together. And speaking of the condor and eagle, again, for anyone that's in here, I'm super grateful that for all of the donations that were made to be able to feed the Shipibo tribe this month, and they were able to get what they thought to be the medicine necessary to help their tribe. I am telling you, I am overjoyed. Um, and I want to put a plug, man. $4.50 feeds one family for an entire month. There's 100 families that we need to keep on feeding and helping, and most of us can afford $4.50. Their power, their medicine is it changes our world. They open their doors to us at the times we were in need to awaken us. And the condor and the eagle, the condor is their medicine down there, and we have the eagle in the north. And even the native tribes here in America have talked much about the condor and the eagle merging, and we're in that space now. So helping them is literally part of this awakening process, and I want to speak to that. So there should be a link down on this expanded understanding page, but I do, I put a plug in for them. Changed my life, saved my life. Wouldn't have the music I do, wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for them. And I'm grateful to be able to be here and share all of this with you. So I am going to read some comments. Yay, Plur. Oh, wait. Thank you, Maya. Less than 48 hours. Yeah. That's awesome. I'm so excited. Aaron's coming. Plur. Peace, love, unity, and respect. For anyone that wasn't ravers, that was totally our thing. Plur. Fuck. Awesome. I love it. So amazing. So amazing, Kala. Yay. Okay, I don't need to click all those. Let me go to this. Why did you not show? Super fucking love that you had that experience and the incredible way you tell the story, Jen. Aw, thanks, Erin. Thanks, I appreciate it. I smoked for 27 years. I definitely feel like it was a protection, but when I was done, it took a few hours to break the habit. Yeah, like literally, Kala, it's really amazing. I've had a couple times too. Yeah, it's a fast process. Another time I sat myself within, like I was outside in the desert, and I sat cross-legged and I put like a circle around me, and like kind of similar to the tesseract, but I just didn't smoke in those areas. And man, it really, like, it's much easier than what we've been told. You just got to want to do it. You just got to want to do it. And that was a big thing. The side thing that I also had, this like back of my mind, was like, if somebody asked me like or said something about me smoking like pretty right away, let's say it was 1 or 2 days in, I'd be like, oh well, I did smoke like 2 days ago. Like it would almost feel like it was a lie. But the truth was is that Jen in that space didn't smoke then, so I didn't need to be like, yeah, I'm kind of a smoker, not because I'm in the process of quitting. No, it's just like literally I just don't smoke. I just don't smoke. And that was like really freeing for me too, because I maybe I cared more about at that time what other people thought. Get what other people think out of the way. It's for you, and definitely like in that space. But 27 years, yeah. I have not counted how many years, but I'm sure that's very close to me as well. It just sounds like so much. Time's not real. It's not real. I didn't find it difficult to quit smoking. I meditated on it and told myself that the habit wasn't serving me anymore. I didn't get any withdrawal or cravings. Yeah, so same thing. Same thing. Yeah, I love that. I love that we're all finding that to be true. And yeah, that's awesome. And the wasp also represents evolution, progress, development, and order. Correct. Correct. All of those things. The wasp has a ton of different meanings, and it depending on the different wasp too, because it has the yellow and black. So this is going to be the balance, yin and yang. So yeah, evolution, progress, development, and order. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I love it. I love it, Kala. Like I said, I'm really excited to have you come and work with some animal medicine with me. I think, and I'll plant this right now. I have this dog, and I've worked so many different ways on his cough, and he is a floof ball. I mean, like floofer butts. He's like a American Eskimo. I'm pretty sure he's a full breed. Oh, maybe some of you don't know the story of my dog, and I'll just reshare it here. I love resharing the story. So I was on my journey. I was in the Saint George border, like the desert in Saint George in Arizona, like right on the border there. And I was actually staying off at my own camp. Zach and I traveled together. He was about a quarter mile from me, but I was doing some personal self work. And so I was staying off in the desert by myself. And that could be kind of scary and nerve wracking, if you will. But It wasn't. It was like these meeting my fears, meeting myself, having that space. Um, but I had just gone through this process where I was healing myself from past traumas, and I had two things that I perceived that needed to be healed. One of them was when my best friend Eric died, which was just very, very hard for me. I loved the shit out of that guy, man. He was so badass. He like Oh man, I could tell so many stories about Eric. He inherited a bunch of money after his mom died, and he was very much on this spiritual journey like we are, guys. He would travel the world, where he ended up in one place in Indonesia, where he ended up being a wolf with a tribe in Indonesia for like a week. He went and learned qigong with in another place. That just we would go travel the world and bring back the information to each other. I'm a wolf too. He's a wolf. Eric and I just had this huge tie. When he came back from that trip, from being the wolf, he had an epiphany. He said, "I'm going to die soon," and I was like, "Eric, I hope you choose it as your ego death." And it wasn't, unfortunately. Well, everything happens the way it was supposed to, But anyway, Eric, I knew that there was some healing that needed to be done. And so I decided that, as much like I loved Eric, and, I have this beautiful feminine energy and all the things that I loved about him, I decided to just birth it inside of me and explode it within my vessel so that he could always just kind of have and be a part of it. And I thought, well, I felt really amazing after that. And then I thought that to be very, very good meditation to do with Sophie, which was my dog, Sophia, that had actually been kidnapped. And it was very, very difficult. And so I decided to do that same. I birthed her inside of me. Actually, it's very funny because this guy came at the same. Oh my gosh, I never correlated that dude. This dude came into my life right after I did that meditation, and I won't go into it's like, and he professed his love to me and all this kind of stuff. That is so funny. So I had a dude come, and then I also had this dog experience. So now I've just birthed Sophie inside of me, and I'm out in the middle of the desert by myself, and I'm having this dream, this lucid dream where I see Red Doggy. We had Red Dog and Sasha, but Red Dog and Sasha were at Zach's camp. I was solo. And so in this dream, I see Red Dog come walking into my camp, leading Sasha in with her. And it's one of those real dreams. And I'm like so excited to see that they had like come, and I'm like going to them, and at this point all of a sudden I hear the sound of this dog coughing, and and it was about probably 2 3 a.m. I'm not sure what time it was, but it was late but early morning. um and normally, like, and so I was like pulled from my dream where I'm like, wait, those can't be the dogs coughing because I know that they're not here, where you're coming out of the dream. And so I feel like Sasha and Red Dog absolutely came ushering Audie into this camp, no doubt about it. Audie Ajna is his name. Anyway, he and so I wake up to the sound of this dog coughing. Normally, like when you're alone, maybe you might be afraid. And this girl that I'm telling, like me, just overcoming anxieties and fears at these points, I was not afraid. I was not afraid. It was like even Sasha and Red Dog were coming to like let me know that that to not be fearful. Like I was not fearful at all. It was just beautiful, the energies that were there. And I look out the window, and I was in my car, and I look out the window, and there's this dog that looks so much like Sophie. I'm not kidding. It's like similar size. I know it's not her because like it's not the same dog, but it's this coughing dog that has this like longer fur than Sophie, and but the same kind of like curly tail that Sophie had, and the same kind of like fox snout kind of thing. And Audie was white and Sophie was cream, and Audie is a boy and Sophie was a girl. And it was like such a beautiful balance, and the name is perfect because it's really the balance of the divine union. And so I decided to name him Adiyajna. But we're out in the middle of nowhere, and here comes this dog. And so I kind of let him stay out there a little bit. I tried to open the door and invite him in if he wanted to come in, but he's an older dog, so he didn't like jump into the car because he couldn't. But I didn't know that, and I just like invited him like if he wanted to stay. So I kept the door open and just kind of let that. I'm like, you're welcome, like however that process goes. And by the time I got up and going, he was still there. And and then the reality started setting in where, wait, where is the owner? And I got this overwhelming sense that the people that own this dog thought that he was dying, and they were just saying, oh, go be a dog now. Like, why do people do this? Like, oh, now that you're dying, I can't deal with your death. Go be a dog in the wild now. I mean, I really got that energetic sense that that's what happened. So I ended up driving back over to the camp, Zach's camp with Audie, and I was like, what do we do? And so we ended up loading up and drove to any other camps that were in the area to try and find the owner. But of course, there was no owner because like this dog came and he was like, nah, I'm your dog now. Um, so anyway, I've treated him for all different things, for his cough, lots of healing. So anyway, so I kind of feel like the cough a lot sounds like he's coughing up fur balls, because there's definitely stuff coming up with it. But we have to keep him outside during like any of our podcasts because of the cough. So I would love to be able to like not have him cough, but if it's just fur balls, then I don't know what we can really do about that. But Kala, I would love to pick your brain on that. And so there's that story. But yeah, he's a cute floofer butts. I love him, and I'm so grateful that he's here. Okay, we got some comments. Yay! Thank you for commenting, guys. I feel like I'm just hanging out with you. It's so, well, I am. Oh, okay. Okay, all right. So we're down here. Doo, doo, doo. Let's go. Super love. Aaron says, super fucking love that you had that experience in an incredible way. You tell that. Wait, did we already read that one? Oh, yeah, we read these guys. Okay. Stop being dead. Do, do, do. The wasp. Oh, yeah, because we were on the wasp. Do, do, do. Here we go. Oh, my God, so cute. Quitting smoking was, oh, yeah, like, oh, Brittany. Quitting smoking was awful as fuck for me. Took me over a year to stick it out and not cheat. Ah, yeah. Are you still done smoking? Like, is it done? Did you ever go back? I know smoking can be a really, really tough journey to stop. I think my biggest thing that and point that I was trying to make make with that is just really like that want to stop like that. Like I loved smoking like this. There was just something about it that I really loved it. And so like quitting smoking was hard as fuck up until the last like couple times that I'm sharing. Like if we were talking about all the years before and times that I quit for like 6 months or something, man, that was never easy. I even tried like the Chantix a really really long time ago, but that oof, I'm not no medications. Like it's been a long time since I've done medications. And that it was when Chantix first came out. So what was that? Like early 2000s? But yeah, like my journeys to quit smoking was like real hard in the beginning. But in the end, like I had just really wanted it. I just really wanted it, and I just didn't want to do it anymore. And I think with anything that I've quit, it's been that way. Save alcohol, but even alcohol, like that one that one was that I had to quit drinking at that time. We can go down that story at a later point, but I want to like get to these comments. So yeah, if I'd be interested to, oh, here we go. Mushrooms, honestly, I microdosed and it helped me not smoke. Oh yeah. Yeah. uh, so you actually had the help of mushrooms with that. I'm glad that you had that. Microdosing is badass. I definitely recommend it if you guys have an opportunity to come upon mushrooms. We're about to legalize mushrooms. That will be very, very interesting to see what happens in the world when it gets legalized. Um, but mushrooms could definitely help with that journey. I also, like I was saying, like I think it's a big protector. So there could have been like that resistance because of not doing the protections of self, because there's different shit getting in, like hopping onto your bandwidth. So there's a lot of different angles that I look at for quitting smoking. Um, do I certainly still enjoy smoking cigarettes, but I don't feel attached to them anymore. Yeah, yeah, like same. I mean, no, no, no. I would say that I'm currently smoking, uh, and I wanted to start smoking again, and I made the choice to start smoking again. And now I'm kind of coming back up on that cycle where I feel like it's time for smoking to go before my 40th birthday. In my conjunction point, I'm not sure I want that to come with me. And so that might be something that, well, that's being looked at right now. But I definitely love smoking. And thank you for the reminder of the attachment, because that's just all like that would be really is just my own attachment to it. I do like to use it as a medicine, and that doesn't mean that that can't be used that way. Um, it's just the regular smoking. I like the feel of it. I like it. And I often find sometimes I smoke because I'm bored. And now I'm filling my space with a lot of other things and not feeling the need, quote unquote. It's not a need, the but need to go and smoke. Um, he. I love how things come to us. Yes, exactly, Carla. I love how things come to us too. And I will for sure check him out while I'm there. I don't know what you were talking or referring to. Oh yeah, I'm done now. Dude, mushrooms, honestly. Oh yeah, we just read that about you microdosing. That was awesome. Smoking was super comforting, super hard to quit until we agreed together I didn't need it. Yeah, yeah. It's just that journey. It is. The thing is, and I want to say this too, is when I smoke, I roll my cigarettes. I don't buy actual like cigarette like Marlboros or anything like that anymore. I try and get tobacco that doesn't have chemicals on it. I believe that I sense some semblance of trying to get tobacco here in America that doesn't have it is hard. And we're also dealing with another, and that's something I should talk about too. Like most of us are really addicted to the like arsenic that is in the cigarettes and the other chemicals. Like we're forcibly made to have that. I can tell if I smoke a Marlboro, like I feel like I want to like smoke another one and smoke another one. Like it literally has something real different to it and on it. And then it also like slowed me down. If I don't have time to roll one, like it just like filled the space differently. So the kind of tobacco that's being used is also something that's different. Um, I used smoking as a crutch to help with social anxiety. Saying I need a cigarette was easier than saying I need a moment alone to center myself. Yeah, I totally get that. That social social anxiety, as I said, with the anxiety aspect, um, smoking actually enhances anxiety. So it's something to think about if you're having anxiety, to go and to take something that can evoke more anxiety is not necessarily recommended, but I totally get it. It's like a instant gratification and instant quick fix. I know that it's the relief using. I think that's the thing. The attachment that you're talking about is the relief, not having the attachment anymore, but the attachment is to the relief using aspect of it. So if I'm not utilizing the relief use and I'm having my own tools so that I don't have to have that relief, and we can talk more about like different breath works, like box breathing is really good, and not something where you have to say, excuse me, I need to go somewhere to go and center myself. If you're in a space that you can't do that, I can, I guess, tell you about box breathing now. Many of you might know about it. But even like Navy SEALs use box breathing to bring down anxiety. And all it is you're going to inhale for 4 seconds. So you breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you hold for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you exhale for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you hold for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you start again. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, hold one, as you boxes around. And you can get feeling pretty lightheaded with this. You can go longer than 4 seconds, but usually when you're anxious, it's really hard to get a breath in, and 4 seconds is a really fair one, like I think an easy one to grab. I can do 4 seconds. If you start with 6 seconds or longer than that, I think it really is like you're not getting it the same. So I like to start with the 4 seconds, and let's say after a few of those, I definitely feel like I can get a much deeper inhalation. I will hold for the like 6, 8 seconds, however that is, and make sure that I can hold for that amount of time. Because again, it's also that holding period where you can get anxious, where you're like, oh, I gotta breathe, and you don't want to do that with the mind when you're trying to calm it. So the box breathing for sure, but and for yeah. So that's some suggestions there. I don't doop doop doop. Back to your comments. Oh my gosh. I turned 40 this year too. Yay, Brittany. Wow. When is your birthday? Mine is July 6th. Uh, so if we weren't in America, I found this out. Um, Everywhere but America, they do their dates where they'll say their day first, then their month, and then their year. And in America, we say the month, our day, and then the year. So I didn't catch on to this for my birthday until just like a few years ago, or recently anyway. But my birthday is actually, if I go with the not American way, is 6, 7, 80. So it's like 6, 7, 8. So I thought that was fun. So I'd be interested to hear when your birthday is. I'm a double Cancer, so it's coming up. It's coming up soon. Yay for 4T. And the other thing with 4T, as I was saying, I mean, it's a conjunction point. Age isn't real. It's just not. We can change that at any point that we want to. We can Benjamin Button ourselves. It's just taking care of our health, and it starts with what's going on in here and in here, and centering and balancing, and also our gut, like all of it's a you can age isn't real. Yeah. And but numbers, like when they're coming up and that time around the sun. Also in some indigenous cultures, 4T, like they'll say they won't take their children out for 40 days, 40 days and 40 nights. I mean, 4T is a very, very like it's a powerful thing. 4 is conjunction. You also have the cross, which is conjunction. We even talked about tesseracting, which is the Z pinch. You also get to X's. So literally, like, take the power of that age, rather than it being, oh, you're old, or however society looks at it. Fuck them. Then yay, 80s babies! I turned 40 on the 7th. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So we have two. Oh wait, Brittany. Maybe I said Tiffany. Brittany. That is awesome. I'd be interested to hear that. And Tiffany, yay, 4T. I think you were the one that mentioned that in the comment, or when I was on the podcast the other day. So we're all coming together, us women, the 4Ts. Woo! And I know I know another woman in here that's in her 4Ts. She's past just the 40. She's a little bit older than that, but oh no, we're in our 40s. That's awesome. Let's see. Did I do this one? I don't like to think about it in black and white. Oh, no, I didn't. All or nothing. It ebbs and flows for me. Sometimes I smoke more, sometimes less, sometimes not at all. Yeah, excellent. Excellent. This is not pressuring yourself in any way, and it's just going with the flow. And like I said, perhaps there was a reason that you are saying, I am craving tobacco. It's the same, like, when it comes to food, listening to your body when it comes to food. I am not an advocate for all vegan, all vegetarian. I'm an advocate for listening to you. Um, my one thing I would say on veganism and vegetarian, like they're like, don't kill the animals. Like, um, plants have as much consciousness, if not more, than like animals. Like, not more, like literally they have the same level of consciousness. And so, like, saying that just because it doesn't have the eyes and ears, like that same kind of thing, they have just as much consciousness. Start learning about trees and their neurological systems. I mean, like, working with the plant medicines, you start to see that. So it's really just listen to your body. We There's death all around us. There's less life than there is death. Every thought that you didn't do, like every projection of that reality didn't happen, that's a form of death. We're surrounded by death all the time. So, looking at it on a different perspective. But the same, like with smoking, perhaps there's a reason that you're saying, that cigarette sounds good, and that is you then utilizing that medicine as the protector that it is. And then perhaps check your merkaba that you have built as of today, or maybe before, and making sure that you're building to that structure and that nothing is jumping on that bandwidth. Playing with that merkaba again, a good reminder. Love, yeah, totally love the articulation, Willow. Right on. I love that. I love you, Willow. You're so dope. Willow, that was my favorite. Just getting some space and grounding. Yeah, I want to keep that up. I love that. I switched to chemical free and then onto an herbal mix. Is that with smoking, Sammy? I don't know what you're referring to. Am I missing something? Maybe the herbal mixes with tobacco? I don't know. I don't know if you want to like mention what that was. And then, oh, Wim Hof. I want to go. Uh, Wim Hof, is he the what's the reference? Was that the box breathing? Did Wim Hof also do box breathing? I think he also talks about breathing. He might do the box breathing too. I'm not sure. It's interesting to jump back to the comments. So, but I love that, Willow. I don't like to think about it in black and white, all or nothing. It ebbs and flows for me. Sometimes I smoke more, sometimes less, sometimes not at all. See, it's easy. It's easy. It's like they're taking away the pressure of ourselves. This is also like that self affirmations of ones that you can believe. It's like taking that pressure away. You're doing the best that you can right now, and where you're at with where you're at, and really recognizing that that's exactly what you're doing, and you're centering yourself in the now, is really, really, really cool. Oh man, what else? What else? We've talked about so many things: animal medicines, smoking. Hmm. Hmm. I'm trying to think. Definitely self love. Having. I, I don't really know much else, you guys. I mean, I know a lot of other things, but as I'm like sitting here and I'm thinking, um, are any of you needing anything that would be perceived some healing work that might be a benefit to you? We could create a space of healing energy for you if you would like to pop on and say, yeah, like I could utilize some of the energy of all the beautiful people within this space. um let's see. Oh, I guess I can go back to like my journey on like alcohol, because I said, oh, I didn't want to talk about it at that moment just because I didn't want to divert too far from it. But I like to talk about this because alcohol is a very, very interesting medicine, and it is a medicine and a spirit. It's a good old Al Ghul. And also the take snake. He takes the experience, but he shows you what you're repressing. You'll imbibe Al Ghul, and Al Ghul will bring out what's being repressed. That's why you can have a happy-go-lucky drunk, you can have an angry drunk, you can have all of these different kinds of parts of you that comes out. But yeah, alcohol was a very fascinating one for me. I didn't drink much growing up. I definitely felt more of like I would be the pot smoker than the drinker. And then when I got into a certain relationship, we just drank. And he had kids, and it was illegal to smoke marijuana, just stuff. So I ended up gravitating more towards the alcohol for several years. And for about 5 years, I drank super, super heavy. That's just like what we did. And it was, it's like every activity you would do, like involved drinking. Like we would go to galas and banquets and all this stuff. And it was always drinking, drinking, drinking. And my body just couldn't take it, not to the degree that I drank to. And then I really struggled stopping when it came down to it. Um, and I definitely went on a journey. It took me about a year fully to be able to quit, like making the decision to quit, to then quitting, and then learning about the medicine itself. Like when you go to Mexico, there's tequila they created there. Again, they work with it just like the take snake, bringing out the things that you were repressing. Now I can look back on it and view it very differently. When I quit drinking finally, I was as close to death as you could almost come with drinking. I've seen worse. I've worked with people worse, but give it 2, 3 more weeks. No way I would have lived through that. So the Al Ghul is definitely quite the masculine spirit. But I have a lot of respect, and I have a very different view of him today than I did before. I did what a lot of people did. I went and I joined the Alcoholics Anonymous program. I really did a lot of self digging. I appreciate the information given on how important it was to dig on yourself. But I found things that I would end up saying in these meetings that just weren't true. Things like, I would never do that if I wasn't drinking. This is not true. Actually, the things that we end up doing when we're drinking are usually based off of very similar to the 7 deadly sins, or like if we're angry, if we're jealous, if we are feeling slothful, if we're like a bunch of different aspects, end up is what we're actually truly addicted to. And it's not the alcohol. The alcohol was the medicine we were using to be able to see it. Once you pull the alcohol away and you have enough life, you will start to realize that these shadows that we have inside, we are imbibing that. They are releasing different chemicals in our body. Most of us many are highly addicted to cortisol. The world is chaotic out there. So they're constantly having to create a reality of that. And they need a fix. They need a fix. And but I had gotten very, very involved in the AA program. I would travel around. I would speak at middle schools and high schools and different huge meetings with hundreds of people. I really jumped in, like I kind of did when I was Mormon. So it's kind of funny. It was almost like I mean, it was a big break between 16 to like 31, I can't remember, early 30s. I got involved in the program, and I was like, oh, this was what I was missing. It was almost like it fulfilled this thing. But then there came this point, and it was really through my awakening where I knew I could no longer blame alcohol. And I was sitting in these meetings, and we're sitting there externalizing it, saying it is this, it is this, it is this. But I honestly believed that I could literally pick up a drink of alcohol and not like have a sip of it and not like they would say, I can't just have one drink. I'm going to keep on drinking. Like all of a sudden, I was rocketed into the fourth dimension, which they say will happen in AA. You'll get rocketed into the fourth dimension. And it's like this, man. They have this circle and a triangle. Like if you look at the symbols that are on there, like I'm going to get more into that. We have the circle and triangle, and they talk about rocketing into the fourth dimension. Of course, is the transcending point. You are going to have that fourth point, just like the Merkaba we showed you, what we were working on earlier. Same same thing. You see that triangle? It's pretty much a Merkaba. Okay. So anyway, I transcended. I transcended that action. I realized that that wasn't my problem. And sitting there in these meetings and saying it's this thing, it's this thing, I was literally entifying and keeping alcohol alive within me. It was still alive. It was still enacting, saying like, but I was blaming it. Like I would never do that. But then I would sit in meetings like, why am I doing this? You know, and it was just very fascinating. I felt that a lot of mistruths were there, and so I went on a journey and I got very much into symbols. Sound is geometry, you know, sacred geometry, and I'm like, what does this mean? And as upon like my exploration of this symbol in particular, the circle and the triangle led me, and the AA, just AA, like literally AA. That was it. Gematria brought me to gematria, which then brings you to Aleister Crowley. Well, that's interesting. Why do they use AA? Why do they use this symbol? Why is it leading me all to Aleister Crowley? Then I found this thing on YouTube, this video of breaking down gematria of the AA and what it means. And then it gets to this point where they were like, well, actually, Aleister Crowley, and if you don't know who Aleister Crowley is, he was like black magic, like very like esoteric magic man. That was, I think, in the early 20s, 30s, right around the time the AA started. His daughter was actually the first alcoholic, and this program was created and the Oxford group got involved. So then you're going to start tying more into the Masonry and all this kind of stuff that was very manipulated. So it was hard. It's hard to dedicate, like in the sense of dedicating your life to something, preaching to so many people about it because it saved my life. Saved my life. But it was also very freeing when I had done this study and I had done the work and I had found that it wasn't Bill W. and Dr. Bob. In fact, Bill W. did acid. They had the whole acid program where 85% of the people that did that program were fully cured of alcoholism. But the Oxford group and AA would not allow Bill W. to speak about it. The most they would let him speak about it was, if you do this, you will be rocketed into the fourth dimension. So most people were left like, what do you mean by the fourth dimension? But it is like whether you take the acid or not, but if you say in meditation, you will be rocketed into a fourth dimension and you will transcend yourself. I went through a period where I was like angry, like where I was like going through my shadows and unraveling them and having my seizures and being angry and resentful and all of that. And I was imbibing it and drinking it. And I knew that like alcohol wasn't even an option at that point. Like if I was to drink it, it would only make it worse. And really, like I had deceived myself thinking that alcohol or saying alcohol was ever the problem, because it wasn't. It was me. It was the chemicals inside that I was addicted to. So in the end, I ended up becoming my own chemist within my vessel, sat in meditation and learned how to balance my own chemicals inside. Stopped being angry, stopped being judgmental, stopped hating myself so much, changing my perspectives and taking my power back and balancing the serotonin I needed inside, whatever it was. We have that power. And so I've talked about this for many, many years. And it wasn't until like almost a year ago now, I had a friend that kind of put me in that. He didn't put me in this situation at all, but I was in a situation where it ended up being like that peer pressure. That person's like, dude, it's my birthday, blah, blah, blah. And I had been trained for that. Like I had said no so many times because I had been like 6.5 years without drinking by this point. So like, I just didn't drink. I just didn't want to drink. And this is what I believed. Like I had transcended alcohol. But all of a sudden, he started going, like saying the things, what, you think you're going to die after this one? Like all the things I used to say in AA. And he puts his drink in front of me. And it was like this blue glass. It was blue and a blue drink. It had the word Bud Light on the outside of it. And it was filled with this, yeah, it was filled with blue seven different liquors. It was like in an iced tea or something. It was like seven different liquored alcohol that was blue. It said Bud Light on the outside of the glass, and he's just pressuring me. I'm like, no, no, no. And all of a sudden, I just sat with myself, and it was the most transcending moment because I was like, I can sit here and still allow Al Ghul to still have some semblance of power over me, and I speak to this, but I really mean it. I could still have another drink and not need to have another drink, and then it was going to kill me and yada yada yada. I'm going to meet myself here because I literally know I've transcended this. So, four being a magical number, I took four solid gulps of that drink, put it down. I felt the buzz of it. My pool game that we were playing got much worse. My dart game got much worse. I didn't I felt the kind of like that relief that I remembered that alcohol had given me, but it reminded me that that is what I wanted to get for myself. Like when you're an anxious, uptight person, like the alcohol can go, like kind of give you this relief. It reminded me, oh, that's what I'm after to find within myself. And it was just a very transcending moment. I had the four gulps, went on my way, and the next day I didn't think a whole lot about it. I went to work, and Zach came and picked me up, and we were driving back. And he looks at me and goes, he's like a testing. He's like, "Oh, did you feel like drinking or something?" I don't remember his exact comment, and I just responded like, "Yeah, no, what?" Like this is like, what, no? And he just like pulls the car over, and he just looks right at me, and he goes, "And then congratulations, you're no longer an alcoholic." And I like was like, what? Because like I hadn't realized what I was doing in that moment, but it was my final level of transcension. Even after like really 6.5 years of being not imbibing, it was the most freeing moment of my life. Not of my life, but among one of the most freeing moments of my life. And so I share that it's about learning to love yourself, digging and doing the work and meeting your shadows. And now you have like a whole support system here within this group if you are struggling with alcohol, and to find the tools in order to just walk away. When I first quit drinking, I had to. And so I went to detox, and so it was a crazy time. And I did 35 days inpatient. Where I lived, the person I lived with was a heavy drinker, so I knew that I needed to step away from that place and spend time with myself, and it was a safe space for me to go. So I found a place where I could that was in a house, so I was able to be in a house with a few other women, and it worked very well for me at that time. And when I came out, I just like changed directions because I feel like you identify a lot of things like the way you drive, and I like driving the liquor store and these routines, and I just broke my routines. I would just drive other directions, and I just wanted to not do it more. I wanted to live. There's been many points that I tried to take myself out. And now I'm so grateful for all of the journeys and processes because I feel like I'm so much more grateful to be alive today than I ever could have been had I not been through that. So yeah, so that's my story when it comes to alcohol. I do like some of the things that I did learn at AA, but again, it is like a program, literally like it's designed by magic, and to really, in some ways, I wonder if it's keeping that balance where it's that duality. I can tell my nose is getting clogged, which is meaning like my third eye is like super open, so I'm like rooting it down for a moment. Exciting. And finally speaking about it. That's what's cool. Like I don't speak about this, like it's just I haven't really had a platform, and the people that were in AA, like they just didn't reach out really. Like every once in a while they'll send me a thing. Like now that like I've gotten two people send me meeting things. Like now that they're doing like the quarantine, like we'd love to have you in our meeting, and you're doing the Vimeo meetings. Like, but they didn't reach out. Anyway, AA. Oh, bring it down. There's things in it that I really appreciate. Acceptance is the answer to all your problems today. They reference Shakespeare. All the world's a stage, and we're merely just players. There's aspects that I'm like really grateful. But I remember what I was saying. I definitely can feel almost like if we're operating in duality where there's right or wrong, good or bad, victim, victimizer, when you need the alcoholic and the non alcoholic. And so this is the rocketed into the fourth dimension, taking you outside of that space and time where you are no longer that. And that is really the transcending point. And to sit there inside of a space and say things that just were no longer true, I can't do it. And speaking out about it now is important to me. There's a lot of people like that I met in that program that I loved so much, and I don't hear from them because I don't go to their program anymore. It was very much like being Mormon or like Jasmine with her Jehovah's Witnesses, like it's a segregation, and it's about unity, guys. It's all about unity, and that's what I want to do is come together and share this stuff. And we've all had hardships and things that we turn to, and when we're victims and we don't choose to take the necessary steps to let that go, then we're also victimizers, and we will hurt those that we love the most. And number one, you. So I love you guys so much. I wonder if there's more comments. So I'm going to take a moment and look. Um, okay. I think this one, the ritual of smoking and going outside is the best part. Yeah, Willow, the last time I quit smoking, I loved the ritual of going outside and being outside. And I think that's it. Like, I want to be outside a lot. So what I did was I found like sticks where, when you're a kid, you batoned, you did a baton. So I found sticks and played like my favorite music, and I would just learn how to twirl my batons, my sticks, and just do something with my fingers, because I think it's really important to find things to replace. Like, you can't just cut it out. What are you going to do in place of that? You like to be outside? Yes, you should go outside. Like, go outside. It's beautiful outside. It's rooting outside. There's so much outside. But finding what are you going to do? And I just did that. I started batoning. So um, I think the ritual of doing that, yeah, is the best part. I totally agree with you. So if you can find something else to do with your hands, is a dope thing as well. Well, that was my favorite, just getting some space and grounding. Yeah, see? Kala, yes, yes. And then I switched to chemical free and then on to herbal mix. Okay, so that's what I think, Sam, before you were talking about what. Oh, yeah. Oh, so they're all the same comments. I'm going back through the same comments. I'll get this. I'll get it. Okay, so that is awesome. So these are, yeah, so, oh, wait. Oh, no, there's more comments. Oh, okay. All right. I don't know why those. I'll figure this stuff out as we go. Yes, they substituted for another thing. Okay, so there is a bunch. Oh, okay, there was. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, you guys are so awesome. Oh my gosh. You guys have been going on for a while. This healing for me definitely helps my throat. Yeah. That's funny, right? When I was reading that comment, Willow, about healing your throat, right when I was trying to say it, my voice cracked. So my throat was having a heal sesh with you. A non-tobacco smoking herbal mix. I've used several. They are great. So that was that's good to know. I'm just gonna start with the go down. Okay, here we go. You guys might all know this, but I want to be a part too. Wim Hof, aka the Iceman, has a lot of information and techniques for breathing and focusing. Yeah. Oh yeah. Wim Hof is really, he's great. I feel like I like to take parts of my shower as cold showers. I work a lot with the vagus nerve and the central nervous system, parasympathetic nervous system. I find that making sure I get cold water to run down the back of my spine in this area just is an invigorating way to shock my system. and it's helped a lot. Wim Hof has a lot of really different and great breathing techniques. Yeah, totally on board with Wim Hof. I would do where I went swimming in like the snow. It was snowy, and I would go and swim in the river called the Icicle. Get inside. I mean, getting in cold water is a very very invigorating experience. I went skinny dipping my first time into freezing water with a friend a couple years ago. It was kind of what started that process. So I highly recommend kind of playing around with that. But I also highly recommend on both sides because it's not also talked about the heat. I think I shared with you about the hot yoga and the like experience, and like it's the same extreme, right? Like it's just to two polar opposites. So it's not just like the ice as well. Um, uh, this is healing for me. Definitely helps my throat chakra. That was that one. Yes, please talk about alcohol. Yep, I did. You're welcome. I have a nice groove blend with marshmallow, skull up, mug. I think this is back to the tobacco stuff, which I will be interested to maybe look at further. Different kinds of alcohol have different effects as well. Definitely. When I started like I would say that because I had drank like before, but not to that heavy degree, that there was one alcohol in particular, which was Rumplemint. It was like almost 100 proof alcohol or some 90 proof something, and it was like 13% sugar. So it felt very much like taking a shot of like alcohol with like a line of Coke or something. Um, and that was the one that I would drink quite regularly. Um, so all alcohols definitely have a different effect. You have the tequila, which is a different spirit, and the what the potato vodka would provide. So each one is going to have is going to be it. It's still in the take snake family. Still the same spirit, if you will, but definitely like its own entity, if you know, like I guess I would say is my experience. Boo, 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 boo. Jacob. What did you say? Willow. Yes, they do. Beer versus wine versus different distillates versus mead. Each have a different presence. It's very fascinating. Super fascinating. I agree. I I would totally agree with that. Whiskey is my go-to. My body seems to process it the best. I've never had a bad experience with alcohol. I like to use it when I'm having a hard time letting go of emotions. Yeah, and like I said, it's something that's been used as a medicine, and it's just bringing out what you've been repressing. So if you're doing that and you're honoring that spirit and going through, I mean it's a medicine, just like Willow. It's right here. It's awesome. I agree. Mead. It's mead maker. Love mead. I'm just reading the comment. I totally forgot about mead. Drinking mead around a fire with good company. Wait, is a superior way to go to consume alcohol. I don't know if I've ever actually consumed mead. To be honest, like I have no recollection of going. Oh yes, this is the time I drank mead. So that's actually I don't know about that experience and what the spirit of mead would be, and especially like the historical, like this is uh, mead is a very very interesting one. Yeah, I'm gonna have to think on that one. Mead and weed. You're so cute. Oh, guy, cute. I love it. I 100% agree with you, Willow. Yep. I made a few cannabis infused meads. Fucking bomb. So amazing. And they never last long. Interesting, Jacob. I might want to try that, you know? I'm not sure. I mean, right now, yeah. That might be rad to try. Ah, that's cool. I've never even heard of that. I get to learn more and more with you guys. Yeah, see, that sounds incredible, Jake did. Gently. I don't know what IIRC is. That blue drink is called a trash can. Sometimes I don't know like certain. I'm just learning to uh message and like TTYL, talk to you later. I've known that for a while, but like those kind of stuff. So IIRC, I don't know what that means. Um do do do. I can totally relate to your story. I can't wait to share stories. Awesome, Kala. Wow, Jen, you another thing. I am a Jedi at program speak. I love you, Kevin. You're awesome. It was so fun having you on the show last night. It was really, really, really cool. I love like Zach and I were dancing. Like I was torn, Kevin, because I like to say in the comments and stuff, but like Zach was dancing with like his new gloves that Aaron bought him. Oh my gosh, that was such a surprise. Aaron just like bought him these like $60 gloves that have like lights and all this amazingness. Aaron is it's amazing. Like fuck. So anyway, so I just like enjoyed your music to the fullest, the plur, like we were in the rave while we were going. I loved, oh gosh, it's so good. Your music is so fucking dope. Oh, yeah. Yes, a substitute one for another thing. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing. I'm in AA, but I have my issues with it since I still smoke weed, and that's not accepted really there at all. Yeah, that's a tough one, Tiffany. Yeah, it's like you can't even talk about it there. Like you can, but yeah, I totally feel you on that because um at the point I came back from Peru, I was still attending AA, and yet I had started to utilize a little bit with weed as a medicine, or even like going and taking ayahuasca. Like I couldn't even talk about that. It became very very hard because it felt very much like I was a liar, like I was sitting there lying and not being able to speak my truth, and it made me really really uncomfortable, and especially like with weed, because as I shared, like the more you smoke the less stoned you really, like if you smoke on a regular basis, it's not like you even feel it. Like with alcohol you black out, like it's a totally different thing. But it's a tough program. I hear you, Tiffany. Thanks for being honest and open about that too, because it's anonymous. My throat chakra is just like clearing and everything's like purging and draining just talking about it with you guys. So it's a good thing. Thanks. But yeah, Tiffany, if you ever want to like talk anymore or anything like that, I'm like here to help support you and all that kind of stuff. Cause like yeah, there's a reason that we met, and I knew like when you're like, I know a lot of people you do, and it at first didn't register, but when you had said about the one dude, I was like, oh yeah, we went in the same time, like pretty much we were like days apart from one another. Um, Father has 30 years sober when he passed, but it was what it was. Yeah, and then the question is like at the point like the like even if you pass it 30 years sober, like I don't think you're sober. Like my whole point is like you put the alcohol down, but you're still drinking your chemicals. So when you're like really angry about something, when you're fighting with somebody, it is like you're 8 drinks drunk. Literally, these are called the emotional lenses. You've literally drank the chemicals in your body. And that's where I started to have the big, big issue because it wasn't the alcohol, it was me all along. Even though they'll say it in there, they'll go, it's you all along, but they don't. They also say it, but it was alcohol, or even like with God, but it's God, But it's like no, there's so many aspects that the more and more and more I dug deep, man, it was scary to walk away because again, like when you're Mormon, it's scary to walk away from being Mormon because you're never going to be able to be at the places that your family is and all these other shit. So it's daring to step away. And I knew like when the novelty wave hit, and Terrence McKenna talks about the novelty wave, when that novelty wave hit right at the moment of my awakening, and I placed in that space of getting the understanding of AA, and it is where it ended up leading me down the trails of the sacred geometry to the gematria, to finding out that anyone that's going to be sitting there and saying, well, Dr. Bob and Bill W., it's not even true. It's not them. They're just the people that they implanted in there. And it's not that they weren't alcoholics, because there's always part truth, but that's not how it was created. So much of what they talk about isn't accurate. And it's frustrating. But it's not frustrating. It doesn't have to be frustrating. It is whatever. Like go do whatever it is. Like if it will help you stop doing that, go do it, man. Go do it. But there is a lot of other answers, and it's inside of here. Inside of here, you know. Uh, 6 years alcohol free in August. Woo! That's good. Good. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's weird because now I have like that one story I told you. Because it would, if, without that one, I would probably have been about 7 years at this point, 7.5 years. But either way, I think it feels very, very wonderful to not be bogged down by that. And I'm really glad that you were able to break free of it. Like I said, it's a very masculine spirit, and he's serious, man. He's serious, and he's the take snake. You're really dealing with the take snake. But no, if you're operating in duality with it, that take snake still is existing there. So be really careful what you give power, and especially when you go into those meetings, there's a lot of trauma sharing and a lot of vampirism, energy vampirism, and you really, really got to protect yourself and find a way to recharge from that. Um, yeah, I love you, Tiffany. You're awesome. I'm so thankful that you are sharing your story with us, Jen. You are such a lovely person and a captivating storyteller. Oh, thanks, Willow. I want to hear you speak. I really do. Like the way you articulate yourself. Like I'm sitting here going, I wonder how Willow sounds. Like, what's Willow's story? I want to hear Willow's story. Like I always do that every time. You're like the first one in chat normally, and like all this stuff. What is Willow's story? So maybe one of these times you'll come on the show, or you'll like message and maybe we can talk or something. Like I'm very interested. You're such a fascinating character. uh, Okay. Kala, congratulations, Tiffany. Woo. Thanks, Kala. Awesome. Unity. Let's fill this. Doop. Unity, coherence, peace, love, respect. Yes. That's what we're going to do. We're going to have total rave dance party here. We're totally blurring out. Oh, my goodness. Jen, I think you might be the reason I've been drawn to the podcast. Aw. Well, that's awesome. I just like sit and chat. Oh, that's cool. Well, I'm glad that you're drawn because honestly, all the answers that you're seeking will be within these spaces. It's just is gonna happen, and I'm drawn to all of you guys. Like we're connected. We're all connected. So I love it, Tiffany. I feel you. I feel all of you. So, uh, sh- I think there was more comments. It's so weird doing the laptop. Cold cold showers are, oh yeah, here we go. Congrats, Tiffany. For me, I just couldn't drink like I was a fucking teenager. But the other day, I had two mojitos that I made way too strong, so I went to bed. Honestly, mojitos probably were the most delicious of all the alcohols I ever drank. It's just the mint and the refreshing. Oh, like in Hawaii, I remember having like a mojito there. Definitely, like I would say, like that feeling that relaxing feeling that you get with alcohol and that play that can come out. But again, it's just bringing out what you're repressing. So you got to pull it out yourself. So anyway, it's still my journey with alcohol, and I don't really see that medicine is necessary for my life now. And in many ways, I wonder if I've learned enough from it, but I never like this process is evolutionary, not revolutionary. So really, Jen? Cold showers are great. Also, wait, cold showers are great. Also good for your hair. Oh, really? I didn't know that. I had no idea that was good for your hair. That's awesome. That is awesome. I trimmed my hair for the first time a couple months ago and probably need to maybe do that again a little bit. But I think that there's a lot of power in our hair. Like after watching like the movie Avatar and then reading about the natives that went into like special forces, and like when they got their hair cut, their senses like they just didn't have the same honed senses. So I think the natives that are in special forces, they allow to keep their long hair. I It's been a long time since I had really short hair. I've had long hair for a while, but when I was like in college, I used to do all the funky stuff and cut my hair all short and bleached it and bleach bangs and all funky stuff. But there's just something about like the longer hair, I just feel more in tune. And so keeping it healthy is always nice. Cold water deal. I totally, well, I guess I'm already kind of doing that. Sugar has been the hardest addiction for me to overcome. Yeah, there was a whole case study put out where sugar was more addictive than cocaine. I mean, it's cane, sugar cane. Um, I think it was put out by the University of Washington, and this is the next biggest addiction that was there. And of course, all of our foods and all this stuff is just pumping us full of sugar. Uh, it's the same thing, man. You gotta want to do it. I've been cutting out sugar. I also, oh, well, there's a third one that I pretty much quit. Save fruits. Is the sugar. So weed, coffee, and sugar have all been quit so far this month. I wasn't even thinking about that one, but really, honestly, I cut that one back too. Back in the sense that I did have, like, I've had a little bit of sugar, but really, primarily, is cutting that out. I have two cavities that I had gotten when I was in my severe depression, um, and I want to be able to heal them. And so I got this real sense that I needed to cut the sugar off to be able to do it. And so I've been that's part of my process is healing these two cavities right here. And so sugar has to go, but I do need a certain semblance of sugar, like fruit sugar, not like cane sugar. Fruit sugar is really, I think, important for our vessels. There's aspects that it needs it. Meat is like wine made out of honey instead of grapes. That sounds really good. I love honey. I love bees. That's interesting. That's really interesting. That's interesting. It's interesting because of uh the why am I spacing out the pentagon? The shape the honeycomb is made out of, the not pentagram, uh octagon. I know you all can picture the. Is it a five-sided? Whatever shape the honeycomb is made out of that the bees make, if you break down this earth to the final ounce of the geometry, the bees have it. And it also is like there's a whole lot to bees actually. Bees are among like the most brilliant and least understood critters. Honey does not, like, they have honey, it doesn't go bad. It can't there's a whole lot. So making the mead into alcohol, or the honey into alcohol, and what that medicine would be is actually is an actual interesting thing to think about. I hadn't realized that. I should bring you a little bit more I'll bring you more information about the bees and the hives, so that you can know what I'm like talking about. I can't believe I'm forgetting the name of that shape. It's such an easy one. I learned it when I was 2. Anyway, I'm sure you know what I mean. If I remember correctly, IRC, if I remember correctly. All right, that's a good one to remember. IRC. That's if I remember correctly. Okay, cool. Thanks, Jacob. And then you passed out. Mm, dun, dun, dun. Thank you. Exactly. Jen, Jen, do you have the chat set to the top or live chat? I have my phone right here recording this, and then I have my computer here. My camera is better if it's turned around facing me. So, or I mean, so it's just a camera, and so I'm using this so I can have a screen. A chat set to. So I. That's all I know. I'm still learning. Do you have set to top chat or live chat? Oh, I. Oh, that's a. Oh, I see what you're saying. I don't see what you're saying. I don't know what I have. All I know is that I'm trying to scroll. I don't have a mouse, but it's a really sensitive pad, so it will, like, if I hit it on like the right side at all, it will like not do what I wanted to do. But yeah, I don't know about that. At what setting? I thought it was on live chat, but I'm trying to scroll back and read these. But I was like, fuck, nope. I don't know what that was about, Kevin. Do- Oh, maybe the mojitos? Hair does hold power. That's why dreadlocks are so important in some cultures. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't touch on the dreadlocks, but yeah, that is very, very true. That's more than the native cultures, but the dreadlocks is actually like a actual, like a religion, really, almost. Yeah, it definitely holds lots of power. Hair holds a lot of power. Honeycomb, hexagon, hexagon. There it is. Thank you. Thank you. There it is. I could go on for hours about honey and mead and careful if you let open that door. Be be careful. Oh, let me pop this up for you guys. I could go on for hours about honey and mead. Be careful if you let open that door. Well, I think it would be really fun, Jacob, if you ever wanted to come on here and like talk about what you know about bees. I have been learning about them. I was taking care of them up when I lived in Leavenworth, and found out that most of them were actually wasps and not bees. And like, I just literally they're just so fascinating to me. And the hexagon shape, like it literally like, yeah, the hexagon. And it's like the most, yeah, I want to hear what you have to say, Jacob. That would be really cool. I'm not entirely sure how to pull anyone on here yet, but I do recognize, oh my gosh, it's 7:13. What? That went so good. Oh, I gotta go for a bit, Jen. I see you soon. Big hugs. Okay, guys, on this note, like I'm realizing, because I really want to get some food in me before the next show begins. I really want to thank all of you guys so much for being here and hanging out with me. And then tomorrow we'll have more planned. Well, planned, or we'll do even more. Um, I yeah, I just want you to know I love you, and I would love it if we could all just encircle our arms around ourselves right now and just remind ourselves of how much we love each other and love us. And man, you guys are super dope. I'm trying to think. I guess that would be the show for today. Um, I could go on for hours. Uh, yeah, I already said that. Okay, so for the chat, thank you for being so active with the chat and being patient with me as I'm learning this. I'm really enjoying it. I feel really wonderful, guys, and I'm taking all of that and I'm sending it right back out to you. And we'll just keep that flowing. And I will look forward to seeing you in here tomorrow. And hopefully in the show later with Zach and Aaron tonight. And I'm giving you kisses. Mwah, mwah, mwah. And I like this, the Aaron does. Mwah. Okay. All right. I will see you guys later. Bye.